evening. So I think in 5 minutes, all that I can do is try to create an interest in you to go and read the full paper, right? So that is my objective. So the paper basically has 3 parts. The first part tries to define what is Hinduism based on the scriptures, with various quotations from the scriptures and various modern thinkers. And then the second part of the paper covers the actual topic, which is about the dynamism of Hinduism. Because normally, commonly what is covered in papers on Hinduism is the diversity aspect. So diversity aspect basically talks about the various types, various flavors of Hinduism which is there, and how it is a all-composing, all-comprehensive system. But the dynamism part is not very frequently touched upon, which basically shows how Hinduism evolves over period of time. So diversity is over a static variety, and dynamism is over time, how the Hinduism evolves. So that is the topic of the paper. And then the third part of the paper covers, now what are the modern challenges in the how the academicians don't allow Hinduism to change. Hinduism by nature is dynamic, but in trying to study Hinduism, the modern academicians try to freeze it in time and don't allow it to change, and how there are problems because of that. So that covers the third part of the paper. So I'll quickly rush through the first part. Basically talks about Hinduism, and before that it talks about religion in general. Basically any religion has got 3 aspects. One is the philosophy, that is the head part, and talks about who am I, who is God, what is the goal, what is good, what is evil. These are the kind of topics which any religion defines as the philosophy. And then you have the stories, which is the heart part, which basically talks about how the world came and various creation theories, how did mankind come, then stories of divine beings, saints, various parables. So these comprise the heart part of any religion. Then comes the hand part of the religion, which is about the practices. I don't know if people are able to see. It basically talks about the daily routines, the rituals, the events in life, festivals, pilgrimages, music, painting, places of worship. So all these things are covered in the hand part of religion, which is the practical part. Now, so what we try to show is how Hinduism is both diverse and dynamic in all the 3 aspects. So if you look at the goal of Hinduism, which is the philosophy part, the Gita's teaching starts with the 2nd chapter, 11th verse, which says, Na anushocanti panditaha, which basically means the wise man does not grieve. So basically the problem addressed by Hinduism is how to be free from sorrow. So that is, so the first verse of Gita itself opens that way. And then it talks about Sthita Prajna Lakshana, what is the characteristics of a person who has achieved this goal. It talks about like how he is free from any anger, free from lust, free from jealousy, free from desires. So those are the kind of descriptions which come in Gita about the person who has reached the goal. And then also that there's a Parabhakti Lakshana in the 12th chapter, which also talks about Adveshta Sarvabhutanam, how he is compassionate towards all beings. So those are the topics covered. And actually, Hinduism, if you see, it is more of a humanism in the name of a religion than like a standard religion. So this is a very popular prayer. It occurs in the Bhagavatam. Natu aham kamayate rajyam, na swargam, na apunarbhavam, kamaye dukkha taptanam, praninam, arti nashanam. Basically, it says that I don't desire any kingdom, I don't desire heaven, I don't desire even freedom from next life. All that I desire is to free other living beings from their suffering. So this is a prayer of King Rantideva, which comes in the Bhagavatam. So so basically, though Hinduism starts with saying, okay, you aim for this, you aim for that, finally where it lands up is at pure humanism, just concern for human beings. Now, this is another very popular quotation. Ashtadasheshu Puraneshu Vyasasya Vachanam Dvayam Paropakaraya Punyaya Papaya Parapitanam. So Vyasa is one of the great rishis who wrote 18 Puranas. So this one says, by writing the 18 Puranas, what is sage Vyasa trying to convey? He just says that helping others is good and harming others is bad. That is all the message, right? And this is so the goal is unconditional happiness, which we saw as na anushochyanti panditaha, and then it is attained by complete inner fulfillment, and it expresses as service to other living beings. This is the whole of Hinduism. And that's why it is sort of summarized in the verse ahimsa paramo dharmaha. So non-violence, or actually helping others, is the highest religion. So this is, all these are from the scriptures, not from modern speakers. So the people like Vivekananda, Gandhi, they have highlighted these aspects, but they are not their creations, they are actually there in the scriptures, and that is the core of Hinduism. And so then what do we see in practice is basically a gradual elevation. So what Hinduism tries to address is how to raise the common man to this height of spirituality, compassion, and morality. So basically, immature people are selfish, so it sort of gives law of karma, swarga, naraka, all those kinds of concepts to basically to motivate selfish people to be compassionate. So that is the way like Hinduism is designed. And then mature people, it sort of gives nishkama karma and those kind of concepts. And then for a still more mature people, it gives Shivajnane Ishwara Jiva Sheva. So basically like knowing that it is God who has become this entire universe, you serve God to serving the living beings. And then finally it comes to the philosophy where it says the individual is not apart from the universal. So this is a gradual development which Hinduism provides. And so it is basically provides something for everyone, and it is sort of whatever suits the person can pick up and grow from there. So this is the scheme which Hinduism gives. And this part you can read from the paper, which is there in the CD. So what I've done is, Hinduism is a very developing religion, it's a dynamic religion. And actually you can't even call it as a religion because the word religion is overloaded with various other religions. So it's basically a culture, it's basically a collection of revelations, beliefs, stories, and practices of various people of this composite culture which is there in this country. And I have taken similarities to language and cuisine, and then try to correlate how languages develop naturally and how, like say for example, if you take a sambar or a paneer butter masala, like how the recipe develops naturally over a period of time, and then comparing them with religion, I sort of try to draw a parallel. Like say for example, it is not limited to systematized form, and then the original in the field is what is there in the field is what is original. What is there in the books is only an imitation. And then it has infinite variations, and new variants keep coming, and then new variants will be created by pioneers. So all these things apply to languages, to recipes, and also to Hinduism. So that way, like, there's a parallel which is drawn to understand Hinduism better, and automatically outdated practices will be dropped, new ones will be taken up. For example, polygamy. Polygamy was the norm earlier, where the society, there are a lot of wars in the society, and male members were getting killed in the war. So naturally the number of females were more and number of males were less. So the Hindu society was polygamous. And today, with the new change of times, the society has changed and automatically it has become monogamous. And so it is even legal that it is illegal to be polygamous in Hinduism. So like this, the Hindu society automatically changes with terms of time. So all these things have been described in detail in the paper. And today's challenges, main challenge is Hindus don't know about Hinduism. That is the main challenge. And then Western educated academicians dominate the narrative of Hinduism, which is a very big problem of Hinduism today. And then the academicians use outdated models, try to freeze Hinduism in the past, and then accuse it of the ills that it has already come out of. So they sort of, it is a vicious circle. They want Hinduism to be in the past, they don't want Hinduism to develop, and then they accuse Hinduism of all the past evils. So finally, if you ask who is actually holding on to this, it's actually the academicians. Whereas the Hinduism, the practitioners want to change, but the academicians don't want it to change. So those are the kind of problems which are being faced. And so you can go through the paper, and so basically Hinduism is a very pluralistic religion. It accepts, it not only tolerates. Tolerance is actually a derogatory term. Saying that, okay, I tolerate another religion is a very derogatory term. It accepts the other religions wholeheartedly, and That is what is presented in detail in the paper. And then there are some further readings. So these are mainly like the quotations which are taken from the paper, like it takes widely from Vivekananda, Radhakrishnan, and different people, Rajiv Malhotra, Vamshi Jewelry. So you can go through the paper and the references for further details. I'll stop here. I just want to start with one quotation of Swami Vivekananda, which is there in the paper. Vivekananda says, religion is not a sealed book. He says, I shall keep my heart open for all that may come in the future. Is God's book finished, or is it still a continuous revelation going on? It is a marvelous book, these spiritual revelations of the world. The Bible, the Vedas, the Quran, and all other sacred books are so many pages, and an infinite number of pages remain yet to be unfolded. I would leave it open for all of them. We stand in the present, but open ourselves to the infinite future. We take in all that has been in the past, enjoy the light of the present, and open every window of the heart for all that will come in the future. Salutation to all the prophets of the past, to all the great ones of the present, and to all the ones who are yet to come in the future. This actually summarizes the spirit of Hinduism very, very nicely in this quote of Swami Vivekananda. Thank you.